Yo, 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 yo. What it is? What's up? Oh, hold on, that turns down. Cam Joy, just keep in touch. Turn it down some more. Alright, y'all. So, I have been around the world and back, and I can't find my baby. I don't know, and I don't know why. No, I'm just kidding, y'all. What's up? Another episode, season 3, episode 1. I decided to re-record this episode because I didn't really like the information I was giving out before. Not because I really didn't like it, but genuinely, I just felt like there were better things I could say, and I can interpret and have better diction in this one. So I'm back home, y'all. Back in Chicago, and I can actually remember the day that I was sitting at my desk at work when I was at the Grand Hyatt, and I looked at this picture of Chicago and I said, I'm coming home. And I meant that. And it wasn't that Atlanta wasn't it for me, it just wasn't time for me. And I got the experience I needed to have, though. So I'm not saying, like, don't have an experience or don't stop yourself from doing something, because if I didn't ever go to Atlanta, I would not have known that I should never been in Atlanta, right? So it's just like you never stop yourself from those experiences because it still makes you stronger. Especially for me, like, I really was, I was a different person. Like, I never met this person before. I never, and I'm talking about myself. Like, I didn't know I can hustle the way I hustle. I didn't know I could grind the way I could grind. Like, when you put into certain extremists or put in certain realms, like, you just activate your superpowers, and that's really what was happening. I dug deeper into myself. I dug deeper to who I was because it was like I had something on the line and I had a why behind it. There were times where I was a little lazy or like, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to do this type of situation, right? But then you got to also take yourself out of that selfish mentality and be like, all right, you ain't the only one that's in your household. So, like, now that you want to quit jobs and shit left and right, like, that can also cause you to, like, mess up the income that's coming in your house to make sure that you're stable. So it's just like a lot of life lessons as you grow as an adult in general. And I'm saying it like I'm not about to be 28 this year, which is not that bad. I'm still in my 20s, so I ain't even tripping. There's a lot of us tripping because, we get to that point when you get to 30 or you feel like your life should be ready and, fulfilled by 30. And sometimes it's not even the case. Like, you just have to experience life how you experience life and never be afraid to start over. Because if you are afraid to start over, that means you're never going to get started with anything. Like, even today, like, I was talking to my cousin briefly, like, really briefly, about, like, going to school to do hair. And then she was like, oh, well, you should have been did that. Like, nah, you can do it whenever. It's still time. As long as there's breath in your body, accomplish everything you want to accomplish. Do everything you say you want to do, regardless of the start over. It's how you see things. It's how you visualize things. It's the perspective that you have on it. Like, if you know you can do something, do it. Like, even today, I even thought about this, and I know I'm drifting off from my coming home story, but, like, I thought about this today, like, coming in the house and, like, starting a new job. Like, I know this is not the job that I want to end up with, but it does kind of free up a little bit more of my time so that I can really focus on my craft. So it's just like I'm venturing off from hospitality again, but also, again, this is something that is completely different from not even really speaking to people, just doing task work. And that's really what I'm really good at. It helps time go fast and just learning how to now use the money that I acquire so that I can build a better empire for myself. A lot of y'all know I'm really big on my investments. A lot of y'all know I'm really big on just making residual income. A lot of y'all know that I'm really big on just money mindset in general. So just me learning how to properly save, properly do things, and to just make those needed adjustments. And it's really just sometimes just adjustments. Like, everyone I speak to, they'll be like, Joe, you're not far off. It's just how you go about it or the processing of you. Like, you know exactly what you want and you know exactly how to do it, but sometimes we have to adjust certain things. But that was just a word for somebody. But so really quick, y'all. Probably gonna do about 20-minute podcast for y'all for the first um, the first timers, people who first time hearing about me, knowing who I am and stuff like that. Um, Brief intro of who I am. I don't think I really did this in my first season, honestly. I probably did. My name is Joy. Joy Michelet Hunter to be exact. Go by it, no by it. I got a nickname from a millionaire, which a lot of people don't understand why. Like, I appreciate it so much because not only was he a millionaire, but he was a black millionaire. And he was teaching me a lot of things like with stocks and investments. And he has like the #1 medical company in Miami, Florida. He actually offered me a job. So his name is Rita Smith, the third, I believe. And every morning he would come down. He's a very brief man, but also a very purposeful man. And when he comes down the stairs, he greets me. He said, "Oh, Dr. J." So I go by Dr. J. I feel like when you're blessed by something that you see yourself to be, take it. That's it. I bless what I want to be. I don't, take anything otherwise. I'm a smart woman, from what I can tell, and I know that when a blessing walks in, you know how to treat it. So call me Dr. J if you please. Call me Dr. J if you will, and if you don't, I don't care because I'm gonna still go by it. But like I said, y'all, I'm home, and a lot has transpired with being home. A lot of getting to know myself, figuring out who I am as a woman. Um, there was a lot of undevelopment that I did when I was in Georgia for the 3 years. There was in development of certain things, but there was development of certain things. So one was really just being an active adult um, that cared more than just about self. Now that I'm in a group of people that are very helpful to each other. I was in a group of people that, you had to do it for yourself. You had to do it on your own. You don't get no help from family. And if you are getting help from family, just believe you owe them something now. And that wasn't the type of placement I was used to. I was just used to, like, I even questioned their way of doing, like, even when it came to sharing money. I was like, you know, like, for me and my family, if you give out a loan to somebody, this is just for my family. Again, if you get out a loan to somebody, I don't need it back. At least this is between me and my mom and my brother. That's what I'm saying. My immediate family. Now, with them, it was like, oh, I gave you $20. Well, my $20. You still owe me that $20, right? And I even said, I was like, man, ain't y'all a family? Where does I owe you come from? What about, oh, you could just have it? You must have really needed it. Like, because that opens up more understanding, in my opinion. It ain't like it's about having or giving handouts, but it's just like help somebody out, help a sister out or whatever. But yeah, it was just like I was with a different tribe. I talked about this before, but our values didn't really align as good, and that's something that's very important when you're with somebody. You have to make sure you guys have and share similar values. Sometimes it is best to be around people who are similarly raised like you, but they always have a little tweak to it. So it's not like you're exactly raised the same way. But I ended up having to liquidate the apartment, and I'll say liquidate meaning I sold all my stuff. I ended my lease early. Excuse me. I turned the keys, packed my stuff, whatever I felt was needed, and honestly, I left a lot of stuff too. Like I left a $28,000 couch. I left not 28,000, my $2,800 couch. Cause the reason why I'm naming these things is because this was the first time I ever had ownership over things. I left. Okay, let me tell you what I didn't leave. Y'all know all the furniture I posted, all the stuff that I had. I didn't leave my PlayStation. Okay, I sold my TVs. I sold my table. I sold my TV stand. I don't know what happened with the bed, and I just sold what I felt was important to sell to get some decent money off of it. Then I left all my plates and bowls, everything, garbage cans. It didn't matter. I left the crock pots, everything. Um, and I felt that that's what I was supposed to do because I was really building a life with somebody, and I had to leave those things behind because that was no longer serving me. And it was just like, as much as I miss being there and miss doing things that I did or miss being with that person, it was more of, you have to grow and you have to get out of this mindset because it's not serving you. And that situation wasn't serving me. When you're so blessed and you're so amazing, and when people can see that, they will take advantage of that. Especially if you don't have enough self awareness in yourself. When people can see that you have been misguided or sheltered or taken advantage of, or they can sense those things, people will suck that out of you. When they see how great you are, they will literally use you for their benefit if you don't know better. I was talking to a good friend earlier, and me and her were discussing like people with big hearts, and I was telling her like, people with big hearts have to have boundaries. Like, there has to be set boundaries because people are out here literally taking advantage of people just to take advantage because they know they have a good heart. And sometimes good people turn into bad people, and not even in the sense of they're bad, but it's just like their hearts get a little hardened because it's just like, man, I'm constantly throwing out this good. I'm constantly throwing out this positivity. I'm constantly throwing out love. And this is the return that I get on it. Like, I don't want to be that person. Maybe I should be a bad person. Or maybe I should take advantage of people. And for me in particular, I'm learning how to straighten up my boundaries. I'm learning how to stand on my own. Because and in some senses I wasn't, because I was also depending on my partners to supply certain things for me. Like, for one, and I'll even go as transparent as this, her car. I knew I should have got a car when I was in Georgia, but I was being lazy. I was like, you know what? She got a car. She convinced me that we only need one car, so I'm not about to keep going out of pocket. So whatever debts or anything that comes about, I'll take care of it. I'll be the one to do what I got to do. I'll be the one that steps up and say, well, I know how to get money, so let me go do what I got to do to get this money and do that. And that's what it was. It was at to a point I didn't even want her to work. Like, it was getting to that point where I was just like, I'd rather just you stay in the house, keep the house clean, and do what you got to do for the crib. I would. It was really getting to that point, but her being the type of woman that she was, and honestly, it wasn't even really about her not working. I just wanted her to focus so much on her craft, bro. Like, she's a great hairstylist. She's great everything, right? In my opinion, cook. And I just was like, man, you have these talents, these gifts. Like, just do it, pursue it, right? And I was so up in her dream, but I was still up in mine. Like, I was doing my podcast, I was doing stuff with the clothing line, getting stuff together with the clothing line, buying the prints and figuring out like with the t-shirts and stuff like that. So just like I was getting ready to start exploiting and doing things. And plus, her brother he was teaching me a lot of things about where I can get my stuff manufactured, what I could do with the cleaners, and like he was just like showing me how to get this stuff up started from the ground. And it just went haywire because, again, I was so caught up her ass trying to make sure that she's hustling and being the entrepreneur that I'm about to be, versus just like, doing my thing and being an entrepreneur. But like, I was always felt that I wanted to be with somebody that grinds with me, that strives with me. Like, I didn't want to do this by myself, you feel me? So it got to where our values just didn't come in line. I was probably also being overbearing, but I also took in consideration that I wanted something out of my partner, and I wasn't going to settle until I got it. When I came home, a friend of mine spoke into my life and made me realize that I didn't have to settle for certain things. If there is something that I want, if there is someone I want to pursue that and don't give up on it. But when something's genuinely not serving you or putting in the time for you, let it go. Not everything is meant for you. And what it is meant for you will always come to you and come back to you and stay with you and grow with you and see the changes in you. So it's just like learning the importance of that. So when I came home, I wasn't as happy though, because I felt like a failure. I felt like, all right, why are you home? Bro, you was gone for 3 years, you was doing your thing, but things started down from spiral. I didn't care. I was cool with things down spiraling, but I wasn't happy. I genuinely was not happy, y'all, like at all, whatsoever. And when I came home, I started to feel a lot better. I wasn't 100% better, but it even took me a while to start warming up to people again, being around people. Like, it's almost about to be a year since I've been back home, and I'm finally getting that confidence back that I had, that strive, that want, that desire to be who I am. And I'm not shaking the healing process of doing what it has to do, and it takes time and good choices and great decisions to heal. not just time alone, because just because you deal with time as you heal doesn't mean you're making the right decisions that can contribute to the betterment of your healing. So that's why time and making the right decisions are very coherent with healing. I took on a lot of burdens when I was down there, things that had nothing to do with me. I was ingesting bad behaviors. I was ingesting bad food. Food was good, but it wasn't healthy. My spiritual life it wasn't sinking, but it began to sink because I wouldn't even say my own God, but I became very reluctant to a lot of things because of the belief systems that I was around. And not saying they didn't believe in God, but it was just like, we believe in God, but we out here doing things that ain't so godly. You feel me? And but that's life in general. But it just, for me, I guess, and then I also created a judgment mentality too. Like, I was judging anything and everything. I learned a lot about myself. First of all, I learned I ain't perfect. I learned that I ain't the smartest bitch out here. I learned I'm smart, trust me, but I ain't the smartest one. I can always learn something. I don't have to be that egotistical person. I can humble myself. I learned that you gotta watch out for people. You gotta watch out for people's mamas. And it ain't even to really come at that person's mama, but it's just like, you have to watch out for how people have been raised. Because how motherfuckers are raised will show you how they're gonna start treating you. And even though they could be different, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So it's just like, you have to really adjust and understand that, like, hey, this ain't it and that ain't that. And if it ain't something that ain't lining up with how you see it, dip on it. And like I said, I'm grateful for the people and the friends that I ran into. So it's just like, it's a blessing to be where I am, staying strong. I was able to get my job back at the Hilton Chicago. So it's just like, kind of just starting back where I was and just keeping that momentum, keeping that pace. But this is going to be part one, y'all. I'll catch y'all soon. It's probably going to be part one of part 5 or part 3. But I hope y'all enjoyed it so far. Y'all stay in peace, love, and greatness. To be continued.